Hey everybody, I'm Jen and I'm here with John Kim, who, if you're watching this, you probably know him as the Angry Therapist and the founder of Cat Lab, the author of 3 different books, the co-founder of the Journey Coaching Program, the co-founder of the Twirl dating app. John, am I leaving anything out?
Um,
And
Stumbling idiot. I don't know.
hi.
Hi, how are you? No, you're not leaving anything out. And if you're watching this and you're in the community, thank you guys for being a part of this. And also, Jen, thank you for just going above and beyond. You know, Jen does our newsletter. She kind of, I feel like you're like a cowgirl who kind of wrangles up all the and kind of directs them in one way and keeps them updated and all that. So thank you for that.
Oh, of course. Thank you. This is a fun thing to be a part of.
Yeah,
All right, so tell us a little bit about your background because I
yeah.
think there's so many of us who know you, but like we all know like these little different pieces of you. We all came to know you in different ways. So I don't know,
Yeah.
like, how do you want to be known in this moment?
Oh, I like that question. How do you want to be known in this moment? Because I have this broken record that I just play, which I'm so sick of,
Yeah.
35 divorce and all the rebirth and all that. But how do I want to be known in this moment? God, that's interesting. Um, I don't want to make it, and this may sound cheesy, but I don't want to make it my business how I want to be perceived or known, because I think that's dangerous.
Yeah.
I want to just try to live an honest life, and then allow people to um, take me in, or whatever I'm putting out there in. Like, I don't want to hold that and control that, right? So it's like that saying that what other people think about you is none of your business,
Hmm.
because I can easily get caught up in like, this is how I want you to see me.
Yeah.
The word brand on brands is really, like popular right now. Like, this is my brand. And I'm just like, this is me and what I'm passionate about, the flag
Nice.
that I'm waving. And then it's up to you how you want to take that or not.
Dude, I love that. That's awesome. All right.
So I don't want people to um, know me in any other way than the way that they want to know me.
Okay, so then reframe of the question. What are you
Yes.
working on right now that you're passionate about?
Oh man, so many things. Little side projects. What I'm working on that I may self-publish, and I don't know if I should talk about this. But I love side projects. I think we sometimes can get caught up in, um, performance scoreboard, monetization, scaling, all of that, and sometimes doing a side project reminds you that to play with your Legos and not uh, be so concerned about ROI, or
Mhm.
the profits, or whatever that looks like for you,
Yeah.
followers or whatever results. And so one of the things that I got excited about was, I used to be a miserable duck. It's a children's book, and it's it's about a little duck who is not the most attractive duck, and she wears Doc Martens, and she's a little bit of an outcast, who befriends a raccoon. And the thing about a raccoon is they're nocturnal, and the raccoon is kind of angry and going through his thing. But the more they become friends, the more he starts sleeping. And so when he starts sleeping, he can't be friends with her. So it doesn't have a happy ending. It's like the moon falling in love with a fish kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, but it's like a real story for children.
Yeah.
And that passion came from, of course, having a daughter and wanting to write something that she could read.
I love that. And it's so interesting.
Yeah.
I've
So
had
that I might self-publish that.
that would be super fun. That's a great one. And I like that having a
We'll
daughter
see.
got you into the potential for writing children's books.
Yeah, and I don't know if we should add the S to the books yet. It's just one. Um, it's funny because so I would do podcasts or interviews with bookstores, and they can't say the F word, so they would say something like, it rhymes with duck, or miserable duck. And then I thought to myself, what if that actually was a children's? I used to make fun of that, and now I'm like, oh well, let's just make it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's cool.
Yeah,
All right. So
yeah,
what do you have? Because you also teach in the lab. Not only are you its creator, but you also lead classes in
yeah.
it. And I know you
Yeah.
have
So,
like, yeah, tell us what you're doing in there.
uh, I guess my kind of go-to class would be the containers class. It's based on my first book, and it's building yourself a brand new, what I call a container, a life space. And this is taken from my own journey of rebuilding and starting over. And I was just had nothing, no friends. I was broke, and this is how I kind of got myself out of the trenches. I built myself a brand new life container. So I teach how to do that. And then I do some classes that are always kind of rotating. So, and these classes are experimental. So, like I did a couples class, which was really
Mhm.
interesting to actually Zoom with a ton of couples. Um, and then, because I geek out at obviously playing with different interventions and helping people in different ways. That's where I get
Mhm.
super excited. I'm running a book club called Single on Purpose, and I want to make this fun, and I want to make it. Like I thought maybe at the end, maybe we'll do something like if there's enough people, like a speed dating thing on Zoom, or something where it's not just a book club, but it's a social. Yeah. So like using breakout rooms, or doing something where there's like we could actually flirt and play around and not take it so seriously.
Oh my god, the idea of doing,
What
like,
else?
speed dating in breakout rooms would be awesome. Like, what a
Yeah,
great
that's exciting,
pandemic,
right?
like, way to do that, you know?
Right. And you only get like 4 minutes to ask questions,
Yeah.
and then, I constantly rotate. Um, I just make sure all my classes are casual over clinical. Um, so yeah, and I don't know what I'm going to teach next. I've been a giant life group. I've done something called John's Check-in, and I like that I'm always creating new and different groups to make it fresh instead of just doing the same group over and over again.
I like that. And that your book club starts on Valentine's Day, right? Your Single on Purpose book club group?
Yes, that starts on Valentine's Day, which I believe is a Sunday. Um, so jump in there if you are going through your singlehood journey. And the whole goal of that book club is to empower singlehood, to give it a cape. It's been vilified for so long,
Yeah.
and have a good time doing it. So I don't know how long that's going to be. It's however long it takes for us to go through the book and have fun and interesting, meaningful conversations. And after that, I don't know what I'm going to teach next, but we'll
Nice.
see.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your favorite part about teaching in the lab? I mean, I feel like you kind of covered it, but like when you're actually like in the act of like teaching or facilitating, like what's your favorite part of that?
It reminds me of when I started this whole journey and I was working in nonprofit running groups. And
Mhm.
so there's a lot more people, but I love the engagement of the group, the shares from the community where it starts to take a life of its own. So I'm less about instruction and more about experience. So and I think every group is its own single serving experience, and they're not the same because
Mhm.
all the shares are different. And I'm
Yeah.
sure you feel that too.
Oh, it's amazing. And I mean, even just the movement
Yeah,
of a few people, the shifting of world events as they've unfolded over the last year. I mean, it's been an
yeah,
incredible, like, it's fun watching it move.
yeah.
It reminds me of those, the quotes about, the Buddhist quotes about rivers, like, you're never sitting in the same river twice. Um,
Right, right.
I feel like our
Um,
groups are like that.
yeah, and I think what's happening now with social media and just wellness on the internet is micro groups. So instead of trying to just get as many followers as you can, going deep instead of wide, right? So
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, you could try to throw a big net and grow your following, but really focusing on the community in front of you and going deeper with that community. So whether it's 5 people or 15 or whatever, that I think people are more interested in that, and they're getting kind of sick of just trying to be popular.
Yeah, I like that. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so you've been doing this a long time. Like, what, and I call it like the bumper sticker question, like, right? Like, what would
Mm.
you, if you had like one message to give to the world that you've known that like people need to know about, like, what do you wish people knew about themselves and their journey and like that kind of thing?
Every part of your story will be used.
Mm.
It's kind of a long one, but um, I always feel like people are and I struggle with this as well. People are very busy ripping out chapters, because things have happened, because there's guilt and shame and regret and all that. Um, and I really believe, and this is a choice, but and a practice to believe that whatever you went through is a planted seed, or there was a reason for that. Um, and maybe that reason is for you to somehow change internally, right? So it's not just a setup and payoff externally, where go through something and something's supposed to happen because of that, but maybe something happens internally, right? Maybe
Yeah.
the divorce, the breakup, whatever you went through is going to reposition you or give you new lenses. And so that, I think, is really powering, because it frees you. And then if you get to a place where you really believe that every part of your story is going to be used, um, then you're not denying yourself in your story, but you're now embracing it. And I think that's kind of the tipping point.
Nice. That's a good bumper sticker. It is long, but it's a good bumper
It's a
sticker.
long one. Yeah,
It's a
it's
long
it,
bumper
it,
sticker.
it would take up the whole bumper, and it goes around the car.
All right. What are your three, like the question is technically what are your top three books or movies or TV shows or whatever, but it's really like your top
Mm.
three media inputs. Like what do you love and recommend and what touched you?
Yeah, that's such a so one thing, I don't know if people know about me, I don't read, and it's something that I used to be very embarrassed about.
Mm,
I'm a conceiver, so I love building things. I love taking ideas and just that whole thing, building the bus while you're driving it. That's always been me. I love playing with things, um, rolling up my sleeves, getting into it. But I don't read, and I've tried. I think I have. I have mild dyslexia, and I also think I have um, a form of ADD where after 3 or 4 pages, I can't do it anymore.
yeah.
So I get books in via audio that I can do. So I don't have a huge collection of books in my head, but there have been a few that have changed my life. One, The Way of the Superior Man. And don't
Ooh,
judge it by its title, but it's about masculine and feminine energy, and it's by David Deida. I think it's beautifully written, and I remember after my divorce, um, that book shook me. Um, some stoicism stuff, Ryan Holiday, Ego is the enemy, The Obstacle is the Way. Those are some really good books. Super Fudge. No, I'm just kidding. um, Movies. One of the movies that really changed me that I can think about is, and I actually apply this to everything I do. It's Reservoir Dogs by Quentin
mhm.
Tarantino.
Yep.
And I remember watching that. I was a college kid going through film school, and I remember watching that movie and my jaw dropping. And I know it's violent and all that, but it was the fact that he broke the rules.
Mhm.
The screenwriter, you're taught to not do pages of dialogue, um, and and he just like he's so good at dialogue. He would just break the fourth wall, have tons of was non-linear. And I remember after that movie thinking, wow, this is like, you could actually, make something specifically you, based on your uniqueness, instead of following, formulas
Yeah.
and the shoulds. And so that movie really affected me as a therapist when I started working.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I never thought of it
Yeah.
that way. Like I remember when that movie came
Yeah.
out and it being like it struck so hard, I think because in so many ways it wasn't like it wasn't the normal arc, it wasn't done in all the normal ways, it wasn't predictable the way
Yeah.
everything had been up until that point. But I love what you took out of it because that was so different than I think what probably most everyone saw in it.
Yeah. And also Fight Club,
Hmm.
because I think it's, and I use that in my class. I think it really shows inner conflict and the pseudo versus solid self, and it's one of my favorite movies. So those two movies.
That's awesome. All right. So what do
Yeah.
you actually do every day to stay like, sane and grounded and healthy and like how do you practice whatever that is for you?
Um, Man, I try to. So I don't know about grounded. I try to connect to my body every day. I try to um, um, find some kind of form of meditation or a door leading to flow states. So whether it's riding my motorcycle to the gym, doing some kind of daily sweat. If I don't do some kind of movement, I feel very gross, and so I like being active in that way. I also think it's important to create a space for creativity.
Mm.
Um, that's one of my favorite spaces just in life is the allowing yourself to be creative. So these days, whether it's I don't blog as much. I mean, that was my thing 10 years ago.
Mhm.
So video, social media, books, anything that involves creativity. I make sure that's a part of my day. And then, of course, really bad things that you put in your mouth that taste good. So treats, not too much, but I have a sweet tooth, so a
Mm.
donut once in a while, stuff like that. And then I have a problem with coffee. I drink way too much coffee. I'm a coffee snob, so I do pour over. Um, I spend so much money on coffee. It's kind of ridiculous.
I remember a long time ago in a land far, far away when I drank even more coffee than I do now because it's one of the things we have in common is I think our copious coffees.
Mm.
I sat down, was doing the budget, and it was that moment of like, okay, we have to cut back from somewhere. Like, where are we going to cut back? And how much money
Right,
I was
right.
spending at the coffee house. It was like that thing of like, oh, God, that like hurts to look at. And yet I'm so not willing
Yeah,
to
you
cut
can't
out
do
from
that.
there. We'll cut out somewhere else.
Right, right,
But
right.
yeah, like not the car payment. Like, we're not playing with
Yeah,
that. All right.
yeah.
What
Don't
else?
fuck with my coffee money.
Right? It's exactly what it came down to.
Yeah,
It's like, no, this is survival. Everything else we can negotiate, but that
right.
one, that's not. We're not playing with that.
How many cups of coffee do you drink a day,
Um, I've cut it
or
down.
or is it just big in the morning?
And no, it's big in the morning, but it's usually like I've cut it down to like half a pot a day. I was at 2 pots a day and like six
Oh, that's not bad. A
espresso
few
shots
cups.
at one point.
Yeah, yeah.
And now I'm
Oh my
down to like
God.
yeah, no,
I
it
think
was pretty bad. So
so. I think it's because I grew up with caffeine. I grew up on soda. I grew up, and I think that's why caffeine doesn't do much for me at all. I mean, I could drink coffee and just go straight to bed. So I don't. Maybe it's like that for you. So it takes a lot
mhm.
for the coffee to kick in.
It took a lot, and I worked at coffee houses for years. I mean, that was like my,
Mm,
like what I did in like my late teens, early 20s. So yeah,
yeah.
it just I think I got immune pretty early. Though I will say with aging, it's different for me now. Now I'm like sort of becoming that person where if I drink it after like 4 o'clock, I find
Right.
myself
Right.
staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., which never used to happen. So my body's definitely shifting. Uh,
Yeah, and I think the other part of it is when I before becoming a therapist, I used to love therapy. I used to go to it like it was a luxury, like it
mhm,
was me getting a massage, and I would always do a ritual of getting my latte or cappuccino, and sitting, and there was something about holding something in your hand that was like a hot beverage,
mhm.
and also talking about things, and it just became this ritual. Now, when I see clients, it's like I have to have something in
Yep.
my hand. It's become a pacifier for me.
Yeah, no, I've switched over to like tea during group sessions and stuff,
Hmm.
because otherwise I'm completely, strung out and dehydrated by the end of the day. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
definitely something to like the cup of warm while having deep conversations that um,
yeah.
it's a nice association. It's not one that I want to ever undo. Like
Right.
it's a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well, before we
I
sign
also
off,
think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, no, go. You
I
think what?
also think because I never had an office and I do
Mm,
sessions in coffee shops, I would buy a client who met me at the coffee shop a cup of coffee. I would have coffee and we would just chat over coffee. So that was something that was baked into my practice. And so I think it also stemmed from that too. Years of that, 10 years of that.
I like what a great way to like connect with people. I mean, I think I mean, coffee houses have such a different vibe anyway, but the act of like, sort of like the act of sharing a beverage, the act of sharing a meal,
Hmm.
the act of, I think there's something very fundamental to like who we are as beings on the planet and how important some of that stuff can be to us.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
just
still have
for
I
connection.
still have I have a dream that one day the Tat Lab would actually be a physical building you walk into and I see, um, Italian espresso machines. I see free books. I see couches and pets and motorcycles parked outside, and almost like a wellness clubhouse. I see. So
That would be awesome.
I don't know.
I
Yeah.
have a similar vision, only it exists on a beach and all of the furniture is
Mm,
suspended, and at night it turns into a bar with local like Caribbean music or
wow.
whatever going. So I'm thinking that maybe we should combine visions and make Cat Lab an epic building on a beach with like, espresso machines and Caribbean music and floating furniture and like dogs and pets and kids everywhere.
Or there's many locations. So
Yes.
there's that in Bali, and
Yes.
then there's my version in LA. Yeah.
I like it. All right. Well, anything you want to lead with or exit with? Anything else you want people to know? Anything you want to share um, to the lab community or
Um,
anyone else?
yeah, I just want to tell the members that I appreciate them showing themselves. And you don't have to turn the camera on to show yourself. What I mean by that is practicing vulnerability, transparency, sharing your story. And one thing I want to remind people that the Tat Lab, um, it's less about the instructors and the instruction. I know you can come for that, but more about the community, and it's the amazing like-minded people we have that kind of come to church or are coming
Yeah,
in, holding hands, that make this magical.
it is. It's a very
Yeah.
magical space. Well,
Yeah, and thank you for being a part of it. I love that you are a part of it, and I met you in person many moons ago, and I love
yeah,
that our stories collided again.
I do too. I love that we seem to keep bumping into each other. It's a fun way to do life.
Yeah,
Oh, all right. Well, thank
yeah.
you very much, and see you soon.